We need good dirt. Take care of the dirt and the dirt takes care of you. Leaves are the #1 most important tool in many self-sufficiency or permaculture type homesteads. Every year, God does this amazing thing where he tells all these trees to send their roots down real deep into the dirt, deeper than I can get with any of my plants. And some of those deep-rooted trees, right, they're drilling down deep and they're bringing up all these elements from deeper in the soil that often get depleted out of the surface soil, the topsoil, and the subsoil levels just beneath it. So these trees are, every year, when the leaves fall, depositing these harder to find and harder to source micronutrients into the soil. Not only that, but all this material, when it breaks down, is probably the #1 best soil conditioner you can get. You cannot get an artificial replacement as high of quality as leaf compost, or leaf mold as it's called. That's why I'm out here raking my leaves today. Now, I'm not raking up every square inch back here because that kind of goes against my principles. I need the soil back here in the woods to stay well in organic soil. I mean, I can dig down about 3 or 4 feet out here and it's still nice deep topsoil from all those trees over the years dropping their leaves, where out in the front, when I first started my garden about 10 years ago, I only had about 1 inch of topsoil. I want this forest to have good soil and stay that way so that, well, say maybe I do want to expand the garden out here sometime. It's good dirt, right? We need good dirt. Take care of the dirt and the dirt takes care of you. Got it? So, here's how I use leaves in my garden. You know, I'll never understand folks that gather all their leaves up and, you know, pile them deep and burn them every year. Why in the heck would you do that? Even, I mean, I know some people say, well, ash is good for the soil. Kind of, but it's nowhere near as good as leaves. When you burn leaves or brush or field stubble, all that stuff, you are rendering it down into its more base materials so it works into the soil, but you're skipping out on the entire organic phase that creates humus and humic acid. And that is by far a more important component of healthy soil than anything you can get out of ash. All right, we're here. I use my leaves in 3 ways here on the homestead, and really for just 2 purposes. The first one is they go right into the garden. I'll work a lot of leaves into the garden. They work so good on the soil. My favorite way to do this, which is kind of a simple and fun way, I think, I've got these frames under my rabbit cages. This is an IBC tote metal frame. I'll take this and I'll fill this frame full of leaves all the way up to the top and squish down as much as I can and fill it right up. Put the rabbits on top. Their manure falls down there, that rich, nitrogen-rich manure from and all that urine. It speeds up the decomposition like crazy. If I load this thing all the way to the top with packed-in leaves, come springtime, this whole thing is going to be about halfway full of a combination of leaves and manure, very well composted over the winter, and it's just going to be an amazing material to mix into my garden. So very, very, very fertile. It works wonders. It's magic stuff. Here's a couple other ways that I'll use my leaves. All right, now we're out here by the garden. This plot needs a little more organic material added this fall. I've been working this up a lot, but I still need to add more. What I like to do, just as something very simple and easy that I've seen a big difference from, is do about 3 inches deep of leaves across here. I usually have it kind of marked out into approximate growing beds, about 3 feet wide with 2 feet in between. So I'll sprinkle these 3-foot wide rows of leaves about 3 inches deep, and I'll run over them with the lawnmower just to kind of chew them up more. I'll just let them sit there, maybe pile a little more on, but just let them sit over winter, let the snow pack them down, do their thing. Come springtime, they're gone. They're not even there at all come spring. If they've been sitting on this dirt under the snow all winter, there's a few skeletons of leaves left, but there's almost nothing at all left come springtime. It's all been chewed up by the bugs, by the worms, by the microbes, and mixed in and pulled into the soil in a really amazing way. It creates a nice, fluffy, soil that holds a lot more natural fertility and holds a lot more water, it grows better plants when I put a lot of leaves in the soil, a good bit every year. But I still have another way that I use leaves, so let me show you. All right, I got the chicken coop here. It's full of our chicks. You know, leaves are a very natural source of absolutely free straw. Here's some more. How many people use leaves for straw? I don't know anybody who really does, except me, and I don't know why. Here you go. Because they're free and they come out they fall down every year. I mean, it's basically like getting a pile of straw sprinkled across your yard every fall. Well, why wouldn't you use it? I've got a wood shed in the back, on the back side of the trailer. I have several times filled that whole thing up full of leaves in the fall. It stays pretty dry all year after that. And I'll just use them in place of using straw over the spring, summer, and into next fall, and over the winter. Rabbits nesting, give them some leaves. Leaves don't work great in real cold weather because they just don't create as warm of a nest, but in a warmer weather, they make a great rabbit nest material. They're great for the pigs, they're great for the chickens to nest with, they're a good bedding litter material to soak up manures. I mean, seriously, these things are amazing. It's been a little chilly out lately, so the pigs need a little more material for their nesting here. I don't have them covered right now just because there's no chance of rain in the near future. So I haven't put their cover shelters out. Plus it's not windy, but they're going to have a nice warm bed from leaves. I'm telling you what, this trash can full of leaves, I kind of squished them down a little, will turn this whole 16 by 16 area into a whole different playing field come springtime. I can't stress it enough. I've tried it and tested it multiple times and I see it every time. Gardens shall not live on manure alone. They need leaves too. I know not everybody uses manure. I use a lot of manure, but this is the stuff that really matters. I mean, I can use plant stubble. I've got some corn stubble over here still, all the corn stalks still up in the second corn patch. I mean, but we got folks out here buying hay for $5, $6, $7 a bale, buying straw for about the same price, and using that in their gardens, using that for their animal bedding, when a lot of people get leaves for free every year. What do? We rake them up, we bag them, we set them out to the curb for the city man to take, or we just pile them up and burn them. Folks, don't burn your leaves. Okay, if you can't stand the sight of them, even if they're just across your lawn and you don't need them in your garden, just mow over them. They'll mulch down pretty small. You know, just run them over once or twice with the mower. Get a sharp blade and chomp them, mulch them. Put the mower down on the lowest setting, on the mulch setting, and just mulch them in. I don't really care about lawns. I could care less. There's no way you're going to get me to grow a manicured crop that I can't eat. But the point still stands. One of the largest looming factors we have in the agriculture industry, in the food production industries, in farming in general, is soil degradation, loss of natural fertile soil. Soil erosion, just using soils up until they're gone. I mean, a good example of this, I was reading in some early writings by Thomas Jefferson. He was big into agriculture sciences in the 1700s and early 1800s. And he had written in one of his agricultural journals that a fertile land was fertile for about 6 years. And what he meant by that is you have to figure into your farm business at the time, when you buy land or when you lease land, that it's only going to grow good crops for 6 years, no matter if it's, I mean, even if it's really high quality land. He said you have to go out to a good valley lowland, you farm it for 6 years and it'll be good. The 7th year, be okay. The 8th year, he said, you can get a meager harvest, and after that, by the 9th year of farming it, you have to basically sell it as dead land, useless anymore. And that he said it takes about 40 years to put a little fertility back into the soil to get another year or two out of it. Now, that is obviously growing without putting any fertilizer or any soil conditioners in, but just think about that. You get good fertile land, and after 6 years, it's dead. The key to this whole self-preservation, self-sufficient, homesteading, permaculturing type lifestyle is to take care of your dirt. Take care of your soil, build up your soil, because when soil works, everything else works. Everything is ultimately rooted in the soil and soil health. So good soil health ultimately has a healing effect on every other aspect of productivity. Literally everything starts, the most basic fundamental point of every aspect of industry in the world starts ultimately through the soil, because that's how we get food to feed and fuel the people that feed and fuel the economy. Well, I've talked enough to you guys. I gotta get going. I got dinner still in the house getting cold. I think the kids are getting fussy by now probably. So I have to run. I'll catch you later. Bye now.